Hi. So in this demonstration, we will explore the use of cost allocation tags and chargebacks in AWS Lightsail. Cost allocation tags allow you to associate costs with specific resources and services in your Lightsail account, and it makes it easy to track and allocate expenses. By applying the tags to your Lightsail resources, you can identify areas of cost optimization and create chargeback reports to allocate expenses to the relevant teams or departments. This demonstration will show you how to set up cost allocation tags, apply them to Lightsail resources, and generate chargeback reports based on usage and cost data. All right, so let's go ahead and manage this particular instance to understand how to tag. Now, there's two ways to get to the tagging management. So we can click here, and we can go to tags here, or again, go back. You can automatically do manage here. So there's two different ways to do it. Now, one thing I want to know is always look at this help function. It gives you a lot of good information about how to use different things, and it's just a great little tool to keep in mind. Now, what we're going to do is tag our CentOS, which is going to be used for our AI machine learning department. So we're going to do that first. I'm going to click tags, and there's two types of tags here. We're going to look at a key only tag and a key value tag. Now, the biggest difference between the two is a key only tag contains a name or a label for a resource or service. It does not have a corresponding value associated with it. So, and a key value tag, on the other hand, includes both the name or label and a corresponding value. So, for example, a key only tag might be used to label a resource with a name that indicates a purpose or a function, such as a web server or a database. In our example, we're going to use it for AI/machine learning. A key value tag, on the other hand, might be used to associate additional information with the resource, such as a project code, department name, etc., email addresses, the whole 9 yards. In this example, we're going to just only use a key only tag. Just click this right here, and then give you more descriptions about what's going on. Same for both. So we'll enter a tag here, AI/machine learning. Click save, and it's as simple as that. Okay, so we have successfully set up the tagging. Now let's go to the billing. Okay, so we see the billing is going to be part of our main AWS management console, not directly into the Lightsail interface anymore. Oh, if we just look here, we can see kind of an overall view of what's going on. So it shows I have my current monthly forecast is roughly $125.71. Month to date is $27.50. Total number of instances and services, we're going to have 4 there. Number of active AWS accounts, 1. Number of active AWS regions is going to be 2. Now, the biggest cost for me is going to be the CentOS instance I created because it's the largest one. It has the 32 gigabytes of RAM, which is very large in the world of computing. We also have a lot of storage. Yeah, so we see here, if we go through and we look from this time period, and we can see Lightsail is the winner for the most expensive instance that we have so far. And we see a quick breakdown of kind of everything that's going on here. We're going to also walk through the steps of creating a report. Now, the report's not going to be available until 24 hours from now. You have to set up a S3 bucket or whatnot. We'll walk through those steps. But again, if you want to know how much you're spending, this is going to be a good screen to give you that detailed information. Okay, so we see the Amazon Lightsail bundle of 0.5 gigabytes. And we see that we're using 146.376 hours, and that's charged as $0. But the Lightsail bundle, the 32 gig, that one's very expensive, as I was saying earlier. It's going to be 0.215 cents per hour, and I've used 127 of those hours just for having the service up and running. I actually haven't been using the instance, haven't been using it for any type of processing power or processing anything on it, just kind of use it for these demonstrations. And we see that it can incur a huge cost because of its massive size and amount of computing resources that it's using. So this is something that's going to be necessary to take into account when you have a large organization that's actually using big instances with a lot of computing and storage costs. And that's why it's important to manage your costs and think about the strategies and the tagging of the different resources that you're going to use, because you can incur a lot of expenses even if you're not using the application. So you really need to learn how to go through and do a lot of the specific tailoring to which type of services you're going to be using and setting caps and limits on each one of those services. Okay, so we're going to go to cost and usage reports. And as mentioned earlier, this kind of report I created before. We're going to create another one really quick. And we're just going to call it my cost report And we're going to put some random numbers here because it needs to be unique. All right. I'm going to include these resource tag IDs. I'm going to keep everything as in the defaults for now. So we have to actually make sure we have our bucket configured because that's where our reports are going to be delivered in the AWS environment. And again, the S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. So we're going to configure that really quick. And we're going to use a bucket that I already have existing. Browse here, my bucket. All right, let's do that. Save. All right, name my first report. Let's call it that. I like to put random numbers after. Okay. Next here, and create the report. All right, and we see that in the next 24 hours, our first report will be delivered through the Amazon S3 bucket that we configured earlier. You see earlier that we created those tags for those instances. We're going to go to the cost allocation tag right here, and we make sure we need to activate that so these things are being tracked. All right, so now that tag that we created earlier is now going to be activated and its resource allocation is going to be followed. All right, so that's going to conclude this lesson, and hopefully you learned a little bit about cost and usage, billing and tagging as it comes to the Amazon Web Service Management Console interface. We went over how to create tags, look at billing and cost usage, and just the general dashboard that gives us all our billing information. And remember, if you want to save costs, you have to really think about how much data you're going to be using and make sure you're going through understanding documentation and putting in those cost limits, CPU usage limits, etc., to make sure that you keep your costs down and within budget.